and welcome to Tips for the Transition. I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan, your host. I have the awesome privilege of interviewing co-authors of a new book titled From Resilience to Brilliance. And today I'm talking with Susan Moody, who collaborated with the authors to create this book of inspiring stories about women overcoming challenges and rising up in triumph. Susan's story is called When Failure Was the Only Option. She has the heart of an entrepreneur and started more than 10 businesses. Have they all been wildly successful? Unfortunately not. In our conversation with Susan, we're going to learn what she discovered about herself during her journey as an entrepreneur, and that she has a unique perspective on failure. Hello, Susan, and welcome to Tips for the Transition.
Hi, Maria. Thank you for having us today.
Let's start by you telling us your story.
All right. Well, I'll tell you that when my husband and I moved here from Sacramento back in 2005, and we moved out to the West Valley, and not knowing anything about the West Valley, that there really wasn't a whole lot of businesses, independent restaurants and things out in that side of town. And so with my entrepreneurial spirit, decided to go ahead and put one in. So we talked to my husband. He said, okay, if that's what you want to do. He's very supportive that way. So we found a location and built it out from scratch, which was really exciting, very fun. I love the creative spirit of starting a business and being able to envision it and create it. So that was very cool. Unfortunately, by the time we got the business opened, it was 2007. Yes. So the third quarter of 2007. So we opened right in time for the holiday season. The restaurant, it was a wine bar and bistro, and it just took off. I mean, we had waiting lines out the door. We, had lists. It was just amazingly successful right off the bat. And going into 2008, still was doing okay. We reached over $1 million in sales in our first year. So it was all going great. We had live music there. We had a banquet room. So we had different events going on. I'm always into like the multiple streams of income. So we did that. And then in 2009, beginning of 2009, we were really feeling that recession hit. And we had been negotiating with the landlord to try to get our lease reduced, because we started noticing after the new year the sales dropping off quite rapidly. And so we said, okay, how can we manage this? We started negotiations with the landlord. We decided to cut out the lunch service, just have the dinner service. We reduced the amount of days. We're doing everything in our power to really try to keep the restaurant open. And then in April, I'm gonna start crying about this. I went to the restaurant one day and I was locked out. Yeah, I was locked out of my restaurant. And I'm thinking, well, wait, why am I locked out of the restaurant? We've been in lease negotiations. We were going to make a payment on Friday. That was our agreed upon time frame. So of course I'm on the phone. What's going on here? And they decided they had someone else that might be interested in the restaurant paying the full price, which I find that hard to believe. Wow. So they decided to do the 3-day rule and pay your complete payment or get out. So I make it a rule, Maria, not to make decisions when I'm in that like fight or flight, or I'm really angry or something. I want to make a rational decision. So I had contacted all our workers, all our servers, who were like our family, right? It was a small restaurant, so it was like our family, and explained them what happened and said, just hold on, you have till Friday to make a decision, and I will get back to you. Talked to my husband about it, and my husband's like, what's the big deal? We have the money, just pay them. just pay them. You're going to pay them anyways. I'm like, well, let's step back and really think about this, because we're coming up to the summer season, which is never a good time for restaurants here in Arizona.
Right.
And was that going to be the right decision to stay open or not? So I want us to, do some evaluation. Did I think we would recover enough by the fall and going back into another holiday season to make it worth it? And really upon that reflection, I decided, no, I think maybe now is the time to close. Unfortunately for me, so I'm one of those women that I always say have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan. That's how I've always been successful with my other businesses, is I had a fallback plan or backup plan. And I really didn't have one this time around, because I was not anticipating that the landlord was going to do what they did. So I totally caught, a little bit unawares with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what you went through, Susan, with you've done, prior to this, you had done, 9 or 10 businesses, right?
Yes.
And
all different types.
I'm sorry?
All different types of businesses.
All different types. Truly you're a serial entrepreneur. But what strikes me is the sense of loss you must have felt. I mean, with the emotion, this happened a while ago, and the emotion is still raw for you.
Yes.
So I've talked to a lot of women about loss, and it's been mostly about the loss of a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
And what strikes me is that your loss and what you went through with it, it's not all that different.
Mm-hmm. No, I would agree with you. When we experience loss of any kind, especially women, we take it very personally. Mm-hmm. And that's what this was. This is like losing a child, right? When you're talking about a loss of a death of a family member, it's like a loss of a child, because you put your heart and soul into your businesses. It's your baby.
You really burst this thing from nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I love this. I love this story. I love the rawness mm-hmm. of your sharing this with us, because it's a new perspective on loss, or it's a different perspective on loss that I really would love to get into the emotions that you were entangled in as this was happening to you.
Well, I will tell you this too, Maria, that this is actually, with writing this chapter for the book, the first time I'm ever really talking about this. So I think that's why the emotions are so raw.
Yeah. And when we write about something that is so near and dear to us, it can be a cathartic process as well. Yeah. So thank you for getting us started in this segment with your story, because I want to tease our audience to stay tuned for the next segment, when we talk about the emotional fallout from the experience that you had. So till next time, I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan. Stay tuned.